Well, that's for that.
Right.
Welcome back, Dr. Jacqueline Bussey, award-winning author, professor, public speaker, and student of life with all its messy beauty is here.
She's here to talk about her latest book, Love Without Limits. Thank you so much for joining us. You are a professor at Concordia, correct? And you just told me this is your third book.
That's right. That's right.
So tell us a little bit about this book and where it came from.
Okay, well, this is a book that I wanted to write during these kind of divided times, and I thought I would like to write a memoir and a how-to guide for love across difference in divided times. So that would speak to our day. So that's what I did.
So a memoir, walk us through that. What do you mean?
Memoir. It's a story about my life, about people who taught me how to love bigger and better, and even places. So there's actually a chapter on Fargo and how Fargo taught me how to love bigger and better, since I'm actually from Florida originally. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole chapter.
So who is this book for? Anyone?
This book is for anyone, absolutely, for anyone who has ever loved, who's ever been loved or loved someone else. It's for anyone. Yeah.
But so then talk about the subtitle. It says Jesus' radical vision for love with no exceptions. So do you incorporate scripture? Or?
I do, absolutely. So I actually am a Christian, and so the book actually springs from my own faith and how I feel called to love in today's world. So.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
So how would you, here's what I want to know, how would you define that? I think people kind of see love without limits a lot of different ways, can interpret it different ways. So what are you communicating with it?
Well, for me, it's about how do we love people who are different from ourselves, people who have different politics, different passport, different skin color, all of those things, different religion. And since a lot of the work I do here at Concordia College is dealing with, interfaith peace building and how we can build friendships across religion, that's a lot of what I talk about. I do talk about a lot of the work I do in this area, my friends of different faiths who live right here in Fargo-Moorhead, and a lot of my friends who are new Americans. So they've allowed me to tell their stories. I talk about that in the book too. Yeah.
Does this cross over in, because you have a class for freshmen this year at Concordia?
I do, yeah.
What is that class?
It completely crosses over, Lisa. So I have a class called Compassion and Hope, Interfaith Perspectives, and the students and I, we actually go out into the community and we serve. And so we work primarily with new American communities, and that work that I've done with those students and all the things that we've learned, it actually does enter into the book. There's often stories that I tell that students have given me permission to tell, and it just really comes out of our community.
So I can buy this book and it's kind of like taking your course without having
right.
Yes, without paying tuition.
Much cheaper. Yeah.
Much cheaper. Good stuff. And where can people, this just came out.
It just came out August 20th. Yeah.
And how can people find it?
You can buy it on Amazon, you can buy it at Zambro's and Melberg's right here in town. So yeah, and anywhere else, Barnes & Noble, all of it.
How is this book different than your first two?
Well, I would say that this book, I'm more vulnerable within it. There's more storytelling. Previously, I'd written an academic book that talked mostly about research. The only research for this book was living and friendships.
So here's the thing, I see it and I think, okay, love without limits, you seem to have that kind of heart. I mean, were you a judgmental person before, or what was the epiphany for the book?
Well, I appreciate that question, because I really think that throughout my lifetime I had to grow a lot. I think there were ways that I was judgy about certain things, and then I learned how to love bigger and better, and I wanted to tell the stories of who taught me that. So.
Wow.
Can you expand, or do you want to keep it at that?
Do we have time?
You got 30 seconds, but I'm judgy about...
Oh, gosh. I think I was judgy about people of different faiths. I think that in particular I didn't understand much about my Muslim neighbors, brothers and sisters, and I've learned a lot from Muslims here in Fargo-Moorhead about what that faith really means to them.
Yeah. Sounds like a real eye-opening book.
Thank you.
Love Without Limits. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Coming up, we're going to talk about a big truck convoy coming through Fargo, and it's all for a great cause.